talk Lumeria today as soon as some people find us. So give me a second to get this video set up. I want to talk a little bit about Lumeria. Some of these lost cities, I've been kind of having an emphasis on that lately. So give me a minute to share this out. I want to talk a little bit about the difference in these lost cities, because I've been talking a little bit about Atlantis in my Mystery School of Atlantis group. So give it a sec so some people find us and I'll get started. I want to talk a little bit about the light body, the Akashic, Lumeria, Pleiadians, and things along these topics too in this video today. I've been a little bit all over the place. It's actually really hard to put a lot of the information and downloads and things that I've seen onto video for me. So I personally hold a really good understanding of my own Akashic. I've been all up in it, so I'll kind of talk a little bit about how we are getting information from these past places, because when it comes to these lost cities, they aren't able to geographically find these places, right? They've been searching for Atlantis for a long time, and they're not able to geographically locate these places. The reason why is because they were located in a different dimensional level. While there were people living in these places, the human body was much different. It was at a different density level, and people were living in a different form of the light body. Lumeria was a place that existed, prior to Atlantis, and while a lot of Atlantis was being constructed at the same time. I'm like, right. Alright, so I'm going to be kind of all over the place. A lot of people are getting this information from the Akashic. We have a lot of, the only historical account that we even have of places like Atlantis would be from Plato and people in the Greek philosophy. Like, there were some historical accounts. That is it. There is no written account or history of these past places. So, we just assume that these places were wiped out, were destroyed. Any knowledge that was contained is gone. Wrong. There are many people who have spent incarnations in these past places. Maybe some of you guys are just waking up, and if you're drawn to any of these topics like Lumeria or Atlantis, you were probably there, or your soul wouldn't be so interested in it. And what's happening is that there's this awakening going on. And as we're having this spiritual awakening, we're realizing that we were lied to about everything, especially our history, where we came from. I mean, I know that, like, looking at historical accounts, they have the Bible, and they're teaching you that we came from slavery, that there's a lot of slavery, and this is our history. But it really wasn't anything like that, anything to disconnect us from where we really came from, because we're not seeing our actual history being presented. There's actually a huge cover-up to cover up where we came from in our divinity on so many levels. So what's happening is a lot of people are waking up and tuning into who they are on the soul level, and their past life memories are coming back. Maybe it's just a soul knowing, like I got a lot of information that probably, I had obtained on a soul level from my past life experiences, that due to, awakening my light body and activating myself, a lot of that information, that knowing, started to come back to me. A lot of people are having actual past life memories coming back. Really, the library that they're speaking of is the Akashic. It's a soul record of all of our experiences, our knowing, and there is this information that's been preserved, and you're seeing with this awakening, it's making its way back to this planet, where suddenly people are remembering these accounts or holding knowledge from these places, and the knowledge would have been preserved to be sent back here during this incarnation. So there's many people here that are record keepers for these past places. Their souls would have been the ones holding this lost knowledge that's kind of making its way back right now. These are places, like I said, they existed on different dimensional levels. And we have such a galactic history as humans, and it's hard for me to even recount these things, because who knows what's true at this point and what's not. But I do happen to know that we have a very galactic history, humans. We're very intertwined galactically, and that's something that's been attempted to be hidden from us, our galactic origins on a lot of levels. These would be places that I look at like galactic colonies in a way, almost like galactic colonies that were set up here on Earth. And a lot of the starseeds that are here now would have had past incarnations in these places, and it would have led to a lot of really hard lessons, because a lot of us have been very karmically entwined in this place, you know, seeking this soul liberation that's coming to us now with this spiritual awakening. These were places where a lot of magic existed. We can see their influence throughout history. I went to this place, it's called the Chalice Wells here, and it's in Glastonbury, and I don't know a lot about it, I always say, but their chalice cup is very representative of Atlantis. This would have represented like the womb and fertility and things like that. And it was also like a magical instrument. We see a lot of like the trident in Indian cultures. We see that with Atlantis, like, you know, you see a lot of their deities holding those symbols, or a staff, a cup, and these would have been magic techniques that were passed down from Atlantean times. We see that, you know, we have such an Atlantean connection because it's all throughout our history. You can see it in Ireland, the Viking cultures, the native cultures. You can see that, you know, these were said to be teachers that could transcend time and space, could materialize, could go, you know, anywhere that they wanted. They had immense godlike abilities. And for the first time ever, we're kind of getting back, I'm trying to find the video, we're kind of getting back to these templates with our DNA. Our DNA has crystalline components. And, you know, all humans go from this carbon base. And when I'm in school and I'm learning about science, they previously would tell you that all life is carbon-based, but that just isn't true. We're realizing that the human body is crystallizing, and it is activating our light body in such a sense. Well, these were places of such a high dimensional level that people were living in different activated light bodies, and that's what really we're headed back to with what's happening with this awakening. Good morning. Alright, a lot of you guys may be very connected to the ocean. These are signs you may have lived in these past places. I have a connection with dolphins. I'm doing this Akashic class actually, and they asked us to meditate on our past lives, and I was really tired of like doing this class anyway, and of course they were like asking me what I saw, right? And I was like writing it down, and I saw the dolphin, and then I tried it again later and got the same messages, and then it took me a minute to click what I was actually getting a message of. Some of you guys may be really connected to animals, dolphins, whales, sea creatures. Lumeria was a place where more people would exist, and things like unicorns. The human body was not how we would perceive it now. It was almost like a light body existence, and it took a while to become the more solid form that we're more used to. It was lighter than Atlantis even. Lumeria was very feminine centered. It's debatable as to what happened to alter our history, right? I've seen a lot of different speculations. I can only really talk about what I know to be true in my videos. Lumeria was very dominantly feminine-centered. People were very tuned into things like tantric sex, meditation, their psychic and spiritual abilities. And Atlantis was very dominant male all of a sudden. There is some debate as to whether Martians or other extraterrestrials influenced our history at those places and brought a lot of technology to the planet, and it became very technologically driven. You still see that this cycle that has been going on since those times, and that is coming to a close now, is very male-oriented. We've seen a lot of that with the structures going on, with logic, the way that people are indoctrinated, and it might seem like things are kind of going in like the turn of, you know, feminine or women rising. It might seem like that for a minute, but this cycle is going to bring things into balance. And, you know, these were lessons that the soul needed, though. So in places like Lumeria, people were very one. They would put aside what they wanted for group consciousness, and they had a very hard time with their own individual identity. They were very void of that ego role that we all saw this life, with our own little individual personalities and things like that. It wasn't different. People were very service to others, and then we see a transition in that during Atlantean times, people became very service to self with their abilities and their power and need for technology. We see a lot of, like I said, cultures have come out of these places. I am in an area that has a lot of pagan influence here in the United Kingdom, and that would have come out of Lumeria, a lot of those practices. that people were very nature-based, you know, using magic, using nature, things like that. And you'll see that there was a lot of that influence in Lumeria too, and possibly a lot of, you know, these spiritual influences still came from a lot of these places. Good morning, I'm doing coffee and chatting Lumeria. So we see that there's a lot of this that has kind of been brought down through our history. Most popular, the Greek gods. I was always really drawn to them as a kid when I was learning about them, right? I don't remember. I was like in school learning about the Greek gods. I was always very drawn to them. You see that a lot of that would have come out of places like Atlantis too, because you see their deities are kind of replicated throughout time. There's a lot of speculation. People say that these could have been extraterrestrials that merged with humanity's timelines, altering our history. I'm not sure. I'm open to ideas. But we can talk about, these would have been people, we'll say people, with amazing abilities and spiritual abilities that we probably couldn't even grasp. And I happen to know for a fact that there's always been extraterrestrials in the unseen at the least, guiding our experiences and trying to help us spiritually evolve to a certain level of consciousness. So, these are places that still exist, I'm always saying. We're always dreaming here right now. We're going to learn the natures of reality, hopefully more and more, as the illusions kind of stripping away. This is all really a dream. These would be places that still exist in the now. That's how people are able to access them, through those Akashic energies. And what I'm seeing in the Akashic would be very different than what you may see, because I personally, everyone has different abilities. I'm mainly able to access my own Akashic, right? So I'm able to access information that my soul would have retained, and it might look different than other perspectives and experiences. You need to remember that time isn't what we think too. You could be having parallel lives happening in Atlantis and Lumeria right now. You could be having experiences going on simultaneously. You could have had past lives there. If you're drawn in these spaces, at the least you were probably there. That's why it's a good idea for people to be speaking about their truth and their perspective. We all kind of hold pieces to this. Dreamstones. I like any kind of clear crystals, any kind of quartz, selenite, huge for dream work. The clear ones are really good. Crystals are like a flash drive. They hold memories. Intent is really powerful with this stuff too. I kind of stepped outside that Reiki box and started kind of encoding energy my own way with my own intent, and it was the best thing I ever did. So when you're playing with crystals, set an intention, like to bring back your dreams, or so that you remember it. When you go to sleep at night, ask too. We're trying to reprogram our subconscious, which is something that fits into this group anyway, right? We're trying to reprogram our subconscious. I realized this morning, I'm listening to some music and I'm doing my usual salt bath, that I'm completely on autopilot, right? Do you know what I mean? Where you're like in another place and you're still here, and then I realized, oh my god, that's dangerous. I'm like, that's dangerous right now. I should stop putting myself on autopilot. Where we're allowing our subconscious to take over and create for us. We should be kind of consciously aware and directing our subconscious like a supercomputer. So whatever you are telling your subconscious to do, it will always do it. Like a servant, like a maid, like a slave almost, like to your conscious mind. So make sure that you're like making it clear before you go to sleep, setting intention that you want to retrieve your memories. You want your dream memories back. It's kind of a hard time. I'm trying to think of when the moon is. It can be a hard time right now to do dream work. It might be good tonight. I was having a lot of like dream lucidity, but I kept on like waking up a lot last night, so it wasn't the best for me. We have certain times that are better, but I really recommend putting crystals near your bed with that intention. We are magic. All that magic is intention and energy. Okay, we have the energy component. We're people. We're made of energy. We are vibrating energy. So our intentions that we're setting all day long for anything are very, very important. Set intentions to bring back your dream memories. I like melatonin too, just so that I'm putting myself in a good sleep schedule. If you guys are trying to have an astral experience, this is what I did like 2 days ago. I didn't feel like working. Try it during the day, because you're not going to be as tired if you slept all night, right? When we're really tired too, and we're going through a lot of ascension upgrades, so we've been more tired in our sleep. Do it like go to meditate, take a nap, and try to astral project. Set an intention that you want it. You'll probably remember, if you're napping, your dreams during the day really good. Or if you had an astral experience where at night we tend to go through these, sleep state cycles, and we tend to not remember everything all the time. So try it during the day too. That's really powerful. I always just go into lay down like I'm gonna meditate and just kind of go into a dream state. It'll take you into a lucid dream if you try to fall asleep. If you fall asleep meditating too, play with it. We're getting more lucid here and in the dream state. You guys are starting to remember more of your dreams. You're becoming more lucid. You're practicing more your abilities. You're accessing the Akashic. You're retrieving information. You're altering your timelines. You're seeing what's coming. I have this internal compass, like something huge is coming too. I don't know if anyone else is feeling it. I'm feeling like something huge is coming for humanity that will be the kind of breaking point in all of this. I say everything's like a house of cards around here, and it's very fragile. The government, the government and what they're doing, and it's just all it'll take is, one solar flare, something to happen to kind of set off things like dominoes around here. In a good way though, we need kind of something to happen. I'm not talking like anything negative. I just think that something big is coming for humanity in terms of waking people up, and I'm seeing it happen now where these waves of energy are coming in, and yes, they could be putting people that are asleep in states of anxiety, depression, and things like that, but it's just death of the ego. It's part of the spiritual awakening process. So we're seeing that this energy is having very real effects, these waves of energy, in terms of waking people up. For sure. So we're getting flooded with a lot of crazy energy right now. A lot of people are having ascension flow tilt. But I think it's going to happen more and more. This is the resistance. That what's happening is we're getting flooded with these galactic energies. And that should tell you right there about where we come from. We're getting flooded with these galactic energies. And, I'm having very real chats with people about, aliens coming here and crazier and crazier probabilities and things with this ascension tilt. So that really tells you a lot about our origins, where we're getting flooded with this galactic energy to help our planet because it needs assistance, and everyone's sick and dying and not having a good time. And we've destroyed ourselves many times before, and it wouldn't do us any good at this point to do that and start over. So we're getting flooded with this energy, and the earth is ascending, whether we're aware of it or not. The earth is making its own spiritual ascension, so it's going up in vibrational frequency fast. The earth is pulsating. It's vibrating higher and higher. It's actually pulsating in a crazy kind of way too. If you get out in nature, some people that are energy sensitive might be able to feel those pulsating kind of vibrations. So the earth's going up in frequency more and more. And as, things like the Schumann resonance are changing and the earth's frequency is changing and this expansion's happening, we're going up with it. And it's changing our frequency fast, and it's creating a purge effect. If we have, traumas, things we haven't dealt with, energetic garbage and things like that, and it's naturally purging us out. This is a huge purification right now. I don't know what you guys are doing this week. I'm kind of chilling until the moon energy and just working this week. But I'm feeling a pull to do a lot of spiritual cleansing this week. I was just cleaning, I said the ashram. I just cleaned the ashram, my house, right? We were just cleaning here. And I'm feeling a need to do more spiritual cleansing too. Make sure you guys are taking salt baths, sage in your house, cleaning it. For sure, this is a purification process we're going through right now. Make sure your space is kind of sacred. Purify that too. Make sure you're purifying yourself. That. A lot of people are Lumarian connected, and these are places that I look at as our future as well. They're places that it's our goal to get back to these kind of frequencies and get back to this kind of galactic understanding of who we are. And, we're just realizing that we're spiritual beings and we've been lied to about a lot. And so we're having this mass kind of awakening, and a lot of people are bringing back these memories, especially with 2012. The energetic dynamics changed, and a lot of Lumarian starseeds were activated, triggering, bringing back these Akashic records and memories and things like that. So these energies are making it easier and easier for us to tune into other realms, dimensions, the Akashic, different energies and things like that. And more of these records and recollections are going to come back on individual levels of who we are, where we lived, and how it all kind of ties together with our lessons. But I've always been real connected to a lot of these past places, and I know a lot of the people come into these areas are as well, or you wouldn't be drawn to these topics. So it's really good to figure out like where you might have been in past lives too, but figure out what cultures are you drawn to. Are you drawn to some weird culture that's pulling you there? Like I'm very drawn to the United Kingdom, to these areas too, and a lot of the culture here, and I seem to be getting pulled here. So you know, if you have a resonance with these places, you probably spent some time there. Good morning. I know the energy's intense. I got the windows open. I got the wind coming in. It's raining here. It's all crazy. I do have to work today, or I would have considered going back to bed. But I do have to work today, so I'm here. But the energy's crazy. It makes me just want to go into like hermit mode and avoid everyone. Avoid everyone, hang out by myself. Yes, it's crazy. It's upgrading us. Try to get some fresh air though. I have the windows open even though it feels kind of crazy. Try to get some fresh air in your houses. Try to get outside. Try to connect with the earth. We see a lot of stuff about technology being rolled out that might not be so positive for the human body. And the antidote to that, get outside into nature, right? Earth's energy. Get outside. It will heal you. I know, I'm going to be getting off of here, but I want to send you guys a lot of love. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything else. Like I said, I look at these past places as galactic colonies, space colonies. They may have even been aboard crafts, we're not sure. But there's a lot of research to show that maybe Atlantis was created from thought, much like many of these sacred site areas. And I really feel a pull of what we're trying to get back to in our template. I'm trying to get back to those Atlantean type of abilities and that soul level that I was at. And it really just shows that during Lumeria times, people were very connected to their intuition and energy and the unseen, and then suddenly there was a shift on this planet and everyone got very logical, technologically oriented, male oriented, right? That kind of energy. And we need to get back to a balance with both, and these lessons were needed, but we're going to do that now and get back to that, you know, masculine and feminine balance, which is needed around here. Which is really, really powerful. So we have many of the souls that were here during Lumeria and Atlantis that are back here now to kind of do this, because things are just coming full circle with where we started and trying to shift this planet back into galactic oneness on a lot of levels. These were places where the law of one was understood. We understood our nature to one another. We understood that we were all one on so many levels, and it's what we're trying to get back to, seeing the divinity in everyone and understanding how interconnected we all are. Hi Lynn, I'm getting off here.